Alright guys, welcome back for another video from TDL DIY. So today we got some sketchy things going on. It's probably a little unconventional. I'm not sure, I haven't seen any videos on it, so I'm just going to show you kind of what I'm doing. And I don't know if it's going to work, but I hope it is. I think it will. We might have to get it up just a little bit more, but I'll show you in a sec here what I'm talking about. So we got a kitchen island. I was talking to the guy that does floor installations and floor sales and stuff like that. He's been doing it for a long time, and when he was in here doing the measurements for carpet, he mentioned that to leave a 1/4 inch space all around the island. And I'm like, okay, you know, good to know, just for the expansion control gaps and measures and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, looks good. But then I started looking at it, I'm like, man, then I'm going to have to trim it around the island. I'm going to put a little bit of trim or something and whatnot. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So then I started looking at it and I'm like, well, what other options do I have? I can remove the island. It's heavy. So we could do that. Another option is, and the option I went with, is instead of actually removing it, we just lifted it up about 3 inches, and hopefully that gives us enough room to maneuver our pieces to interlock. If not, like I said, we can go up a little bit higher probably. But this is what we're looking at. We removed the dishwasher, there was a plug, we removed that. There's some wires you're going to see on the ground. They are already disconnected from the panel. I tested them with my little tester here. This is a great little tool if you're doing renovations as well. This one's by Keen Tools, or Clean Tools. It works really good. All you got to do, I'll show you guys real quick. Here, let's find, I think this is the only one that's plugged in. 2 lights light up you correctly. So that means, for one, it's live, and that it's correctly wired up, and it can tell you all the different things. And you can hit this little button here, and that's a ground fault or GFI-C outlet tester. You hit that, and if any of the outlets on that circuit is GFI, it'll trip it, and then there'll be no power to it. So that is a nice little tool. There's other companies that make it. I think I picked it up for, I don't know, I want to say 20 bucks maybe, 20 something dollars. But that's an awesome tool. You can just quickly plug it in and see if you have power to that outlet, even though you think you turned it off with the breaker. And that's what I did, is I looked to see what the breakers are saying. I turned some things off, and I come up here and I double check to make sure that there's no power. So that's a nice little tool for anybody that wants to do that kind of stuff. I totally recommend it. It's, you know, if you don't have a voltage tester, I'd say get one of those. Those are pretty good. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with here, guys. As you can see, the island is lifted up, and yes, those wires, like I said earlier, are turned off and they're capped off, so we are safe. So what I'm going to do is run the floor underneath and then let it sit on top. For one, I don't have to do any trim, and 2, it just has a cleaner look. And 3, I didn't have a whole lot of room between the top of the dishwasher and the counter, so putting just this floor down would have been cutting my clearances away, and it may not have been able to get in and out easily or possibly at all. So that's the other thing I was dealing with. I could have put floor right in, moved the dishwasher, put the floor right in to that little cove, which I'll show you. I could have just ran the floor just in here, but again, I wasn't having a lot of clearance here. This way, if I lift the whole thing up, which is a bit of a pain, then we can put it back and we'll have the same amount of clearance we had before. The island will just be about a 1/2 inch, a little more than a 1/2 inch taller than the rest of the countertops, but I don't know if that's going to be super visual or noticeable to the eye. So the other little great tool I had, and I bought. This is another great product. I just picked this up. You can get them at Canadian Tire for $29. You can get them at Home Depot. I think I paid $23, $24, somewhere around there. Basically what this is good for, it's helped to level if you're a one-man person. It helps to put things in place. Look, here's a couple things. So you can do cabinets, all sorts of things. Doors, it's good for hooking doors back in. If you're installing windows, leveling the cabinets out in two different ways. So it can be used this way, pushing this way. It can be used this way, pushing up. So it can be used in all sorts of things, washer and dryer, stuff like that. There's a lot of uses for it, and it's good for up to 300 pounds. All you do is pump this thing up. I'm not sponsored by any of these guys either. This is stuff we spent with our own money. And then you just push in this little valve, and it lowers it. So it's a great tool. I use that to help get the whole thing up off the ground. And then I used a little bit of that, more of this, quite a lot actually. And I used a little bit of this guy here to help just kind of pry it up, just to get that maybe like a couple millimeters I needed to get a block underneath. So what we're gonna end up doing here, guys, is that we're gonna bring this piece over. We've already re-supported over underneath here, right there. So we're gonna move this guy, or yeah, we're probably gonna end up moving that guy to a corner. Help support it that way. We can bring the piece in, and then what we'll do is we'll re-support this on top of the floor, and then keep going. And then we'll just go underneath and try to get as much as we can. Now the hard part is from about here over is going to be easy because I can get in that little cove. From about roughly here over, I can't, because there's the floor. There's another little floor panel in that goes under the sink. So that one's going to be a little tricky. I trying to figure it out. I needed about a knuckle space of movement for these to click in place. I went about another inch above that. So we should have enough room if I can get my hands up under there. It's not going to be easy. It also saves me from another reason why we didn't move it to a different location, move it back or forward a couple feet so I can just work freely, is I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, so we didn't have to cut any of these pipes. I did buy the stuff to cut the pipes and reconnect everything, but I wanted to try to eliminate that as much as possible. Yes, I could have done it, but I already started lifting it before I went out and bought everything, so I would have had to bring it right to the ground to make it more viable for me to cut the pipe, bring it up, and move it out of the way and move it. This thing is actually quite a lot heavier than you would think, and the problem is that we do have some tile there, so we have to make sure we don't drop aside too much, because then things might crack and split. There's not a lot of support on this thing either. We're good for support from probably here over this way. That's no problem, because that is like a box. The problem is from about here over this way, there's no real thing supporting it. Yes, we could brace it up and probably get it up out of the way, but I wanted to try something a little different, see if it's possible, and maybe this is something that you guys might be having the same issue or would like to do flooring, and this might be an option for you guys to do as well. It's looking good. So I'm pretty excited. I'm super excited because this is something I thought about in my head. I'm like, oh, why don't we just lift it up? We got enough clearances with all the pipes to go straight up. Well, we're not exactly straight. We've kind of offset to one side or forward or backwards or whatever, but that's fine. We basically went straight up to give us enough clearance. Hopefully we can get some stuff under there. So with these wires here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to find out where that hole is. I'm going to get my hole saw, drill a hole, and that will be for where the wires are going to come up through the flooring. perfect. Alright guys, for this next piece. So you can see we've got 1, 2, and then we're going to stop just before this black pipe. So we've marked some lines on this one. This is going to be where we're going to end that one piece. This is going to be the furthest side and like either side of that, and same with over here. And then we're just going to translate those measurements on here. So our end piece is 37.5. So that's from this line all the way to the start of that piece over there. And then we just measure it off from here, 37.5, put our line there, and then got these other marks. And then we're just going to connect them, draw them up, get this board cut. We're going to put it in place. So for this, one other measurement we got to get, which I think I already got, but I forget what it is. We're going to measure from here to roughly here. That's roughly where it is. It's like 2 and a bit inches, or 2 1/4 inches, I think. And then all this is going to be, we're going to probably cut that with a hole saw and then just notch this out. And the same thing for over here. So we can slide this piece in, and hopefully we can get it in where we need to be. So that's where I'm sitting with that. I just wanted to show you guys kind of my thought process on that one. And we'll get back to you once this board is cut and all the special notches are out, and we're going to put it in place. Alright guys, so here's the piece. Cut our spots out, go for the pipes, and it should line up fairly well. See how it looks. Now we still have to move a block, so yeah, it looks good. It goes in between there, and we end just before the black pipe. So it looks like everything's going to go good in that sense. And we should be pretty much lined up on this side. Yep, pretty much there. Now we just got to move those blocks. Probably got to resupport right here, which is going to make things a little difficult. But let's carry on and get this piece in. Alright, so we got this one supported now. That other piece is out. It's right over here somewhere. That one's out, and now we're going to attempt to slide this piece in and hopefully get it locked in. There, that fits in good there, and all the way along. Just have to pop it in place. Get under there and pound that piece in, so I am good. Needs a little bit more, but we are good. Clears the pipes. So we will catch you with the next piece. The next piece should be fairly. This piece right here should be fairly easy. It might be harder to lock in on this side, but for the most part that piece is going to end somewhere over here, I would imagine. And then we'll continue on, because that's going to interfere with the pipe, and we'll get the pipe side cut, and it should be good to go. We're almost out of the clear for this island. A couple more pieces and we can hopefully try to get this back down to normal. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. It looks really good. That looks really good. I'm able to get the pieces in no problem, and it's got enough height that I can manipulate the piece and it works in just beautifully. perfect. That's in there almost perfectly. Beautiful. Go. Now we're, we got one more. We got to support that side over there a little bit. We've got a couple blocks, and we should be good to go. There we go. Now we're free and clear of the island. Island can come down. Yeah, look at that. Excellent. Looks really good. All the way around. See, now that will sit right down on there, and it will look nice. You'll have nice clean lines, so it'll be nice and fresh. That one's a little sketchy right there. It's kind of angled out a bit. It's a little sketchy, but that's alright. That's the way we do things around here, I guess. Yeah, it looks good. Wow. Alright. And the rest of the floor is looking really good too. It's hard to see because the light's blasting in, but it's messing with my camera. Yeah. Looking good. Looking good. There you go. And like 45 minutes. We did 3 rows, pretty much complete. Just have to do some cut pieces, and yeah, pretty much done. So we did pre-cut. Obviously this went a lot faster because we pre-cut this board, and then that was a full board, and we just moseyed on down. It goes really quick. You lay your boards and just keep putting them in. Alright guys, so I think that's it for today's video. If you like this kind of stuff, feel free to subscribe, like, and share, and leave a comment down below. Any renovations you've done, if you laid any vinyl or hardwood or any of this laminate. Tell me some of the things you've done, little tips and tricks. It'll help a lot of other people out as well. Just leave it down in the comments down below. And thanks for watching, guys. And don't forget, never stop learning.